Welcome to another episode of Your Extraordinary Growth. I'm your host, Michael Basinski, and today I'm going to be speaking with Tiffany Rodriguez, a professional model, actress, performer, and entrepreneur in business and digital marketing. She is also an award-winning published spokesmodel, Miss Stuart Petite 2023, activist and mom first to two amazing children. Welcome to the show, Tiffany.
Thank you for having me, Buzz. Thank you.
So you are braving it out of Florida right now. You're originally from New England, is what I was hearing before the show. And so did you move from the tri-state area down to Florida to become an actress and a model? Or how did this all get started?
No, actually, I moved for family reasons about 13 years ago to Florida from the tri-state area. I was raised in Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York, and then moved over here for my mom, and ended up having my kids over here. So that's kind of what kept me in the Florida area.
Oh, very good. Very good. But you're moving back. So now tell us a little bit about you're an entrepreneur and you have some business, B2B or I'd say marketing, right? Tell us a little bit about your marketing business.
So, Treasure Coast Medical Business Solutions is my consulting and digital marketing company. It's kind of a consulting thing I do now just on the side because my previous career was in healthcare management, doing practice management and medical billing for different kinds of doctors and providers. That's initially the business I started when I first moved to Florida. I started that in about 2011 and kind of built it up and had it going for about 10 years. And before was doing the modeling and the acting, which was more of my passion, always on the side, just because it was something I fell into when I got to Florida that was available more now in Miami and Orlando, especially with the acting. So it was kind of something I was like, oh yeah, I could keep this on the side because I have a passion for it, but better to stay with a safe, um, more what would be considered long-term business doing the healthcare business. So that was great while it lasted. And then 2020 hit. It was around the end when everything happened with the pandemic around November, December going into 2021 when everything just changed for me, So much happened in just that year that it was kind of like I had to take a step back. It was a point in my life where a lot of unexpected things happened, which happened with all of us at that time, and after that, when I let go of that business is when I decided to start the consulting and just start doing, just consulting for providers. I got more into learning about digital marketing and how to create graphics and build websites and do digital ad videos for companies, kind of added that as a department to it. And that was my point of regrowth.
Gotcha. And so in your regrowth, are you able to then now you have a lot of accolades in your modeling and acting and whatnot there. So has it rebounded since the pandemic?
Absolutely. That was my pivot moment of, okay, between what I really want to do and that feeling of what I feel like what we're forced to do. I just kind of took everything that I knew over the years and my skills that I built up with the healthcare practice management company and used that to build myself up as my new business and start creating myself into a brand and marketing myself that way. And it allowed me to see that I could do so much more with the modeling and acting and performing and using those skills I could really just work mostly full-time doing what I'm passionate about rather than just what I have to do at.
Awesome. That's great. So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, I see myself getting more growth in my modeling and acting career. I see myself doing bigger films, networking with more people, and just getting to make those greater connections with people in the industry that can really help grow. Um, and hopefully, I would like to go back to the healthcare field in some type of way. But my dream would be to go back to it where, maybe I'm doing my own practice where I can give back to the communities. And it's more than just, helping the providers make money and the insurance companies make money. A practice for a specialty that means something in an area that needs it.
So describe what that looks like for our listeners who don't quite understand what you mean by practice first.
Well, you do not actually need to be a doctor to own your own medical practice. If you are in healthcare management, if you are a director and you've been a director of practices and you know the ins and outs of business management and running a business, and the ins and outs of running practice management, you're able to have providers come and work for you and work for your practice and contract them and use their licenses to operate as an actual group practice. And I've always wanted to do that since I didn't grow to getting my MD. So yeah, I've always wanted to do, having my own practice one day. When working with so many providers for so long, it kind of leads you into thinking, hey, I could do this. Why am I managing other doctors' offices when I could be having my own?
Awesome. And so does this business then walk people through that process, or how is it that you help them realize this?
With practice management, it really is from the ground up. So it's providers that haven't started their practices yet. That's what I did, is I helped them to get credentialed with the insurance companies, put their offices together, and really start their billing accounts and learn how to, manage their accounts and put those right billers in place for them. Sometimes we handled the billing for them, specifically with my old company. So it was ways like that to really help them start generating more revenue and, be able to get contracted with more insurance companies so they can see more patients.
Very good. And so now when somebody goes into practice and how do they know they need your help?
They know they need my help when they've invested thousands and thousands of dollars into working their practice, and they're already seeing patients, and then there are hundreds of thousands backed up in revenue. Nothing.
Gotcha. So you help with the billing then a little bit?
Yes, a lot on the billing end, a lot in the revenue cycle management part and handling all of that, especially with the credentialing and contracting. That's a big part of it as well.
That's awesome. And so that right there seems like a kind of no-brainer for anybody who is got a small medical practice that is worried. I work and I'm in marketing. So, I work with medical providers. A lot of times the conversation comes around the billing cycle, right? And like, what does their cash flow look like? And if they're dealing with government programs, they can wait 120 days to get a discounted amount of, and then managing like okay, you can't say no to some of these programs, but how you market can help you gravitate away from and have a certain percentage of. I'm not going to use any names or anything like that. I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but because you can't do that, but you obviously can take the gas off of it by not, promoting it, right? Those types of things. With a lot of what's going on with COVID and in the medical and big pharma and all these other things, these are all really hot topics. We're not going to get into any political discussion today or anything like that. But what is your projections of how medical billing and medical insurance, since we, and I'm leaning back up just here, we have the ACA, right? And when I was in business with ACA, I had 22 employees. So we had group insurance, the whole 9 yards, right? And so that went through the roof for us. So Affordable Care Act was a very kind of a misnomer for us, because it was like, wait a second, this is not as affordable as it used to be. And we're just a small little business. We're not anybody big, the whole 9 yards, but all of a sudden double, almost triple our cost to just have insurance for our employees, and now that's gone, right? Like it's if you're a micro business, it's almost impossible to afford to pay for your employees' things for their medical. So, do you see an alternative coming in on the horizon? Being that you're helping people kind of look at medical practice a little bit different and approaching the billing cycles and all that good stuff, is there a hope for small businesses to be able to maybe provide or guide their employees into something different than traditional health insurance?
I do actually. I think a lot of people don't know about direct primary care practices and those hybrid practices that kind of work on a sliding fee scale with patients, that are low income, plus their insurance, where they kind of work with both. That right now in the last decade has been the best option for not only providers but patients too, to offer that option, because so many people are self-employed or so many people are running small businesses and don't have that option for their employees. So rather than going and trying to get a private plan that's going to cost $400 to $600 per person, or now the new marketplace plans, which pretty much cost almost as much as the regular plans in some cases for those of us, people that are making over a certain income per year. So it's hard right now. So those direct primary care practices that have that hybrid practice that offer both and do have the sliding fee scales, that's definitely the best option, I would say, for patients and providers that offer that to build and grow those patients in, because there's a lot of people out there that need that as well.
And that's you're helping and when you work with practices, you're helping them realize these revenue streams and these opportunities then?
Yes, absolutely. That these are things that are going to help them keep their patients. A lot of providers also, don't see that they are able to negotiate their contracts with the health insurance companies to some point. There's not a lot that they can do about the allowables, with certain insurances,
Mhm,
especially with the larger ones like United Healthcare, like Blue Cross Blue Shield. But
mhm.
there are ways when you're doing the credentialing process and you're doing it right to negotiate what those allowables and those payouts are to make it better for your revenue coming in, as well as the patients and the type of patients that you want to bring in. So many providers are not able to help patients in their surrounding area just because they're not working with their insurance. You know,
Mm.
and that's because there's a lot of people that are looking for those other insurance options. So they don't have those straight private PPO plans,
Oh
anymore
my gosh, yeah.
anymore.
Yeah,
And
gotcha.
their options.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate businesses like yours that are making a difference in people's everyday lives by helping other businesses uh, find those opportunities to help their communities. Because I think that small businesses are the backbone of our economy, and a big portion of our economy is healthcare. It is an ever growing part of our economy. Unfortunately, because of other things we won't get into today. But I really do appreciate businesses like yours out there helping other small businesses through your own clients. I think that's awesome. And I really appreciate you striving to get that word out there. So, with that said, you've been in business for how long now?
Now since 2021.
So, we're looking at
This
12 years, right?
month.
So, let's jump a couple years into your business career, right? If you could talk to your prior self 10 years ago, knowing what you know today, what would you tell that self?
I would tell my younger self it's possible. That it's possible. There are ways. So many of us want to do things in life and don't jump and just do it because we're scared, that there are no ways, or how am I going to do this and how am I going to do that? And sometimes I do wish that I can tell my younger self, hey, you don't have to give up on your dreams. You don't have to give up on those big ideas that you have. There are ways, you know, even if you don't come from a privileged background, privileged family, and you're doing everything on your own. When I started
Mhm.
my company, the practice management medical billing company, when I first came to Florida back in 2011, I was just hitting 21 years old, you know. I had nothing. I started with me in my room and my computer. And it just takes that pushing yourself and knowing that, hey, I am smart enough to do this. I could learn everything I want, even if I don't have the money to pay someone to teach me. And just putting in that effort and hard work. Yeah, it's possible.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time today. And if to our listeners, if you enjoyed this story here and it inspired you, please make sure that you subscribe to the show. Give us a rating so that other people can find us in their podcast journey. And until next time, stay extraordinary.